So we will now move on to the next presentation, which is on cell towers. Let's see that. Wanted to know the frequency. So what is the cell tower transmit frequency? So cell tower transmits for CDMA 869 to 890 megahertz. Then for GSM 900, 935 to 960. For 1800, 1805 to 1880 3G has just come 2110 to 2170 megahertz. Number of towers installed on Haji Ali Juice Center. See how the tower antennas are being installed right next to the building. As it is that those people who are living right behind, their bedroom could be there right there. I'm going to talk about the back radiation. So I'm coming to that next, right here. Now see, you see all these antennas. These are those vertical antennas which communicate with the people. So these antennas basically have a radiation pattern. And these radiation patterns are very, very important to understand. So those vertical antenna, in fact, sometimes to talk to the common, simply call them a vertical tube light, or you can even think of me that as an antenna. So if my face is like this, which somebody asked, so in this particular case, the radiation pattern we define in horizontal and vertical direction. So in the horizontal direction, beam is like this. So people in this direction will receive more radiation, people in this direction will receive less radiation. If my face is like this, it will radiate more in this direction, less in this direction. That is horizontal. Then we have a vertical pattern. Now vertical, if you see, the beam is so narrow. So if the beam is narrow, then it will, the gentleman in the white kurta pajama, looking very nice and handsome there, receive maximum radiation and the other people will receive lesser radiation. If the antenna is tilted, then he will receive more radiation compared to that. And it is very, very important to know the radiation pattern of antenna. Now if you look at it, down below, it is not zero. It is definitely much lesser down below, but it is not zero. Even in the backside, which you said, the radiation is not zero. It has some value. It is, I am telling you, it is 100 times less than in the forward direction. Why still it is harmful? It will be clear when I show you next equation. So see here what happens. This radiation which is moving from the antenna, the radiation density varies as 1 by r square, where r is the distance. So if you look at this here, so the darker basically are the areas where radiation level is high, and as you keep going away, radiation level is decreasing because power varies as 1 by r square. Next. So basically to explain more clearly, I have just drawn a more enough picture here. So the people are living right in the main lobe. And I have shown mainly the vertical. Horizontal is relatively, it is relatively flatter in the front direction. So in this particular case, let's say if this is the main, so the person sitting right here, in this case here, the maximum radiation is in the main here. And then you can see that there is you can say we call it in the antenna terminology null. So if you are in that direction, there will be low, then there is side lobe, there will be then very low, then low, and so on. I would like to give an example here. Many of you might have read about the famous Usha Kiran building case, which was reported last year in midday. And I had no connection with them. I didn't know them at all. And we suddenly read that there were 4 cancer cases. Here 6. That was last year. This is now. So there were 4 cancer cases, and these 4 cancer cases were reported on 6th floor, 7th floor, 8th floor. And why it was that? Because on the opposite building, which is a 7-story high, so on the floor we had so many antennas. You can see the picture, and here is the building here. So from the 7th floor, it beam radiates. So where will be the maximum radiation? 6th floor, 7th floor, 8th floor. And this is where 4 cancer cases came. Now there are 6 cancer cases in the same thing, but it is spread 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor. Why? Because they are falling in the trailing edge of the radiation. So it takes longer time to do it. Again, everything is power multiplied by time. So if you are exposed to less power, it will take longer time. So these large dish antennas, even though look very high full or they look very scary, but actually speaking, most of the time, you should not be scared of that. And contrary, actually operates at higher frequency, okay? So even though higher frequency is higher energy, yet I am saying it is not. The reason is it transmits lower power. First reason. Second is it is supposed to be point-to-point communication. Their beam width is very narrow, and most of the time they are designed to communicate from this point to this point, and they will ensure that there is no building in between. So they are always looking for a place where there is a clear communication. So they don't want that. So that is why most of the time they may look scary, but they are not scary. Okay. Now comes over this here, and I can show you here that see that way the tower antennas are there. It's not that the back radiation is zero, please, it is not. What it is, this is operates at lower frequency, high power, and point to multi-point, because from this they are communicating with all the users, so it is a multi-point. And yes, it is harmful. And again, I'm going to say harmful in what situation? Okay, I would just say very simple way is that 3G transmission is in addition to the existing transmission. Okay, so suppose there is a CDMA, there is a GSM 900, there is a GSM 1800. Now there is an additional antenna to transmit 3G. Okay, so that means it is an additional power which is getting transmitted. So electromagnetic radiation is going to keep on increasing only, okay? So it is better that we be prudent, take precaution. See, I showed you that the radiation, the downward direction is not zero. It has a finite value. So if you are living below this particular thing, some radiation is coming, but this radiation from the density or the pattern point of view, if you see, it is almost 1/100th of that. But the disadvantage is, that is where my next equation would have helped. Let's say in the front building, that Usha Kiran building example which I gave you, the distance is approximately 50 meters. But here when it is put on the rooftop, it is right put on the top of the roof, or right put in the side of your bedroom. So what is happening? So let's say from the rooftop to the next roof, the distance is not even 5 meters, it is less than that. So what happens at 50 meters, at 5 meter distance is 10 times small, so the intensity is 100 times more. So even though the radiation as such, from pattern point of view, it is 100, but that distance negates that advantage. Yes, radiation does penetrate the wall, it does. Every wall provides certain attenuation. Otherwise, if there is no attenuation, if wall completely seals, then no mobile phone will work at different places. Every wall reduces the radiation by almost 6 to 8 dB. In fact, all the network planning people, they plan that way. That we are involved with the network planning tool and other things. So we know that typically 6 to 8 dB, which is 75% to 80% power is reduced by the wall. Okay. If you have a glass, as I said, glass reduces by not even 1%. Okay. Trees are absolute fantastic to absorb the radiation. Foliage also absorbs the radiation, and because these trees, fruits, they contain lot of liquid, they absorb the radiation. And in fact, I have visited several farmhouses where the fruit yield has gone down from 100% to 5%. I have personally seen that, and I'm going to talk about some of those things, okay? And we have actually done the radiation level measurement, and we have actually seen that in the same garden, that one place things are getting dried up, another place it is there, and all you need to do it is either, you should understand the radiation pattern, or you do the radiation measurement, and you will know that what's happening, right? Let me talk about power density. So power density at a given place is what we are defining in terms of international way. We define that the safe level is this power density. So let's talk about the power density. So how do we calculate power density? To calculate power density, very, very simple formula, and let me explain. It is nothing but power transmitted divided by the area of the sphere, which is R square. So PT divided by 4 pi R square and multiplied by the gain. So that is the gain of the antenna. But I want to also mention here